Ladies and gentlemen, as Commissioner of the Satuit World Association Global Fantasy Basketball League, I would like to welcome you to our first ever draft lottery. Now, many of you guys asked me to record this so there would be no cheating or fixations involved. So just so you know, the way I did it, it would have been kind of boring for you guys to watch because I had an Excel sheet and there was 78 numbers. The last place, whoever finished last place and went by regular season standings, they got 12 tickets, second to last got 11 tickets, then 10, 9, 8, and so on. So basically, the worse you did, obviously, the better chance you had of getting a higher pick. And then on the Excel sheet, there was just this little box that picked a random number out of 78. And whichever number that was the number that got the first pick, second pick, third pick, and so on. So I thought this would be kind of boring for you guys to watch, so I'm going to announce it in order from the last to first, but if you really don't believe me, I actually did record the Excel sheet draft process, so if you really don't believe me, you can watch that if you want. I'll put it in. But right now, I'm going to announce next year's draft in the order that it happened to turn out. So let's begin. I have the card right here with all the results. So we're gonna start out, like I said, from last pick to first pick. So the 12th pick in the 2014 S.W.A.G FBL draft will go to Cobra Islands. In the mock lottery, if any of you guys saw it, Mitch also received the 12th pick and only had a 1% chance at obtaining the first overall pick. He only had one of the 78 tickets that were involved. So Mitch, you get the 12th pick. The 11th pick in the 2014 S.W.A.G FBL draft goes to Fear the Beard. Now this one's a bit of a surprise. Let's see, Connor Rafferty had the 7th pick in the mock lottery and had a 6% chance of obtaining the first overall pick. So I would have thought he would have went more in the middle, but unfortunately for him, he received the 11th pick. The 10th pick in the 2014 S.W.A.G FBL draft goes to the Bonafide Scrubs. That is the Commission's team. That was pretty much expected. I received the exact same pick in the mock lottery, and I only had a 3% chance at obtaining the first. So that's pretty much expected. The 9th pick in the 2014 S.W.A.G FBL draft goes to Kings of Leon. Now in the mock lottery, Riley received the 11th pick and had a 5% chance at obtaining the first overall pick. So again, not too much of a surprise. The 8th pick in the 2014 S.W.A.G FBL draft will go to Team McDade. Now this one surprises me. AIDS had a 9% chance at obtaining the first overall pick, and in the mock lottery, he got the 2nd pick, so that is a huge drop off. Sorry AIDS, that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. The 7th pick in the 2014 S.W.A.G FBL draft goes to Jack Noonan, the most creative team name in the entire league. Jack received the 9th pick in the mock lottery and had a 4% chance of obtaining the first overall pick. So he actually got a little bit higher than expected, but middle of the round, that's up to your interpretation whether you rather have a pick in the middle or pick in the end. Alright, the 6th pick in the 2014 S.W.A.G FBL draft goes to Team Peters. Now, I'm sure Pat's going to be upset with this one because in the mock lottery, he had the 3rd overall pick and had a 10% chance of obtaining the first. So this is going to be a little bit disappointing. He is now smack in the middle of every round next year. I'm sure he's going to be a bit disappointed. Again, that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Alright, the 5th pick in the 2014 S.W.A.G FBL draft will go to Team City. And as many of you know, Kevin will not be returning next year in this league, so whoever takes his place will have the 5th pick in next year's draft. Now, in the mock lottery, Kevin's team ended up with the 4th pick, and had a 13% chance of obtaining the first. So this is pretty much expected that he ended up with the fifth pick. The fourth pick in the 2014 S.W.A.G FBL draft will go to Barry's Sports Fans. And I know that right now, if Connor Tobin is watching this, he is going to be disappointed. Although, for any of you who paid attention to the mock lottery, he ended up with the 8th pick, even though he had 12 out of the 78 tickets, which is the most anybody had in the entire lottery. So I'm sure he's going to be disappointed because he had a 15% chance at obtaining the first overall pick, which is the highest chance out of any team in the league. But unfortunately, he will end up with the 4th pick in next year's upcoming draft. The 3rd pick in the 2014 S.W.A.G FBL draft will go to Curry and Rice. And I think Chris is going to be pretty pumped about this spot that he ended up with because he had a pretty good team this year. He didn't have the greatest record, he just barely missed the playoffs, but this was not expected. In the mock lottery, he ended up with the 5th pick. This time he ends up 3rd. He only had an 8% chance of ending up with the 1st. So, 3rd pick is not a bad spot for him to be at. We're getting down to it now. The 2nd pick in the 2014 S.W.A.G FBL draft will go to Rose Before Hose, which was the 2nd worst team in the league this year. In the mock lottery, Trent actually ended up with the 1st pick. So this might be a little bit disappointing to him. He had a 14% chance of obtaining the 1st, which was the 2nd most behind Connor. But hey, he now moves to 2nd. And finally, the moment we've all been waiting for. The 1st overall pick in the 2014 S.W.A.G FBL draft will go to the Doubling Ducklings. And this is pretty astonishing. Poor Leon, he will most likely not be able to come back to the league next year. Since he lives in Ireland, he will not be able to attend the draft. So this team is going to go to a newcomer most likely. So the newcomer will end up with the 1st overall pick in next year's draft, which they will probably need because Leon's team this year, although they were okay, they were not great. In the mock lottery, they end up with the 6th pick, and they had a 12% chance of obtaining the 1st. So, the newcomer, or Leon, if he decides to fly out all the way over back to Satuit to attend the draft, which isn't going to happen, they will receive the 1st pick. So, just to recap, Cobra Island received the 12th pick, Fear the Beard the 11th, the Bonafide Scrubs the 10th, Kings of Leon the 9th, Team McDade the 8th, Jack Noonan the 7th, Team Peters the 6th, Team City the 5th, Barry's Sports Fans the 4th, Curry and Rice the 3rd, Rose Before Hose the 2nd, and Doubling Ducklings received the 1st overall pick. So I hope you guys enjoyed the first ever S.W.A.G FBL lottery. I hope you guys get ready. Think of your strategies early because, you know, anything can happen next year. So, like I said, if you do not believe these results, I'm gonna put the Excel sheet, draft, whatever, after this. And oh, I don't know if I brought this up before, but the randomizer, it gives like a number and then it follows with decimals. But for the sake of this draft, I just ignored the decimals and just took the whole number. So if there any questions arise about that, like if it's 17.8, I didn't round it to 18, I just kept it as 17. So that's important for you guys to understand. Alright. So thank you for watching the lottery, and see you at the draft next year.